Well, hello everyone and welcome to June. It's Friday, June 4th, 2021, and this is Cord Cutting Weekly. This is the show where we highlight the top cord cutting and streaming news from the past week, and this week we've got more updates from WarnerMedia and Discovery's big merger deal, an official date for Prime Day, a new weekly show from Roku, and more. But first, of course, if you haven't done so quite yet, we'd love it if you took a moment to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. That really does help us out and enables us to produce more content for the future. And now that we've said all that, let's head straight into the news, starting with the latest from WarnerMedia and Discovery. This week, we learned more about the pending merger between WarnerMedia and Discovery. The new venture will go by the name of Warner Brothers Discovery. And yes, that may not be the most adventurous or daring name the two companies could have come up with, but it does at least convey what folks should expect from this new deal. And aside from announcing a new name, Discovery Incorporated also showed off a new logo and a potential slogan, "The stuff that dreams are made of." Now that's likely a reference to the 1941 film The Maltese Falcon, and Discovery President and CEO David Zaslav appears to have big things planned for the company. In its announcement this week, Zaslav said, quote, "Warner Brothers Discovery will aspire to be the most innovative, exciting, and fun place to tell stories in the world. That is what the company will be about." In all, Warner Brothers Discovery will be home to more than 200,000 hours of programming, including more than 100 brands like, of course, HBO, Warner Brothers, Discovery, Turner Sports, and a whole lot more. The deal is expected to close sometime in mid-2022, so in the meantime, feel free to let us know what you think of the new name in the comment section down below. In Roku news, the company announced a new weekly show that'll aim to highlight some of the top content on Roku. It's called Roku Recommends, and the first episode launched this week. The 15-minute show will shine a spotlight on the top 5 or so streaming options currently available on Roku. And that move makes sense as the company looks to grow from just a device company to one that also runs its own streaming service in the Roku channel and is home to a growing list of exclusive and original shows and movies. In discussing the new show, Roku execs cited recent Nielsen data that suggests folks can spend more than 7 minutes just searching for something to watch. So if you're struggling to find something to stream, you can tune in to new episodes of Roku Recommends for free every Thursday starting this week on, yes, the Roku channel. This week also saw the launch of HBO Max's cheaper ad-supported subscription tier. The $9.99 pricing plan includes the same general library as the $14.99 tier, but there are some notable caveats. Perhaps the most significant is that the ongoing same-day releases, where new Warner Brothers films show up in theaters and on HBO Max on the same day, aren't available on the cheaper tier. Instead, those films are slated to become available later on, after their theatrical window closes. Other limitations include the lack of a download option as well as streaming quality that's capped at 1080p, so no 4K viewing for you ad-supported customers. Speaking of ads, HBO Max says users should see at most 4 minutes of commercials per hour, and ads aren't meant to play during HBO programming. And the service is currently offering a deal for new and returning subscribers, which includes prepaying for a year to knock 15% off the price. You can find more details in our post link down below in the video description, and of course if you do give the ad-supported option a shot, feel free to sound off in the comment section down below with your experiences so far. In Apple TV news, the week started with word that the Apple TV app was made available on NVIDIA's Shield TV line of streaming devices, and that marked another major step toward the app's eventual rollout on Android TV-powered gear after it launched on the Chromecast with Google TV earlier this year. And then later in the week, we heard reports that the app was actually available for Android TV devices in general, so we fired up our TiVo Stream 4K, and sure enough, there it was. The timing makes sense for Apple as the company started launching a new slate of programming for the summer, including Lisey's Story, a new miniseries based on a Stephen King novel. That launched this week, and then later in the year, we'll get Season 2 of the Apple TV Plus hit Ted Lasso. So yes, if you're an Android TV user and you've been curious about Apple's app, you might want to check out your device to see if the app is available to download now. And speaking of Apple, real quick, just a heads up that this week we published our full review of the second generation Apple TV 4K. And I think it's safe to say this new streamer offers some very impressive performance and also a revamped Siri remote in the package. But if you're curious how this new Apple TV 4K stacks up, you'll find a link to our video down below in the video description. In other streaming device news, this week we learned more about some new hardware options coming straight from Walmart. Earlier this year, we reported on SEC filings that showed off a budget streaming stick with the retailer's own branding. And this week, actual store listings started popping up for the device and its bigger sibling. And Walmart has since confirmed that both devices should go on sale officially sometime next week. The cheaper option will be known as the ON FHD streaming stick, while the higher-end model is called the ON UHD streaming device. The FHD streaming stick tops out at 1080p or Full HD, hence the name, and it'll carry a retail price of just $24.88. For a little more, there's the UHD streaming device, which sort of looks like a smaller Roku Ultra, if you will. That one can output at 4K and goes for $29.88. Of course, those are extremely competitive price points, especially for a retailer that's made some exclusive deals with more established streaming device makers in the past. Now, is this a sign of things to come from Walmart? We shall see. In any case, if you're looking for a budget-priced Android TV streamer, you should have a couple new options to choose from starting next week. Over at Pluto TV, the free streaming service is prepping to add a slate of new movies to its lineup throughout the summer. The company is calling it Popcorn Summer Movies, and you can expect some well-known titles from a range of genres. We'll have a full list in our post link down below in the video description, but some notable options include Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, Grease, The Matrix, and several more. Again, you can check out the month-by-month schedule down below, and Pluto TV says the new movie should be arriving on the service starting now, actually, and continuing on through August 2021. In streaming news, this week we also learned more about CNN's ongoing plans to branch out into the streaming service space. The news network's parent company, WarnerMedia, is of course prepping for its merger with Discovery, but that apparently hasn't affected CNN's exploration into streaming services. The Wall Street Journal reports that the venture is being referred to internally as CNN Plus and would feature exclusive new shows and content leveraging the network's current hosts. Those shows would be distinct from currently available shows, so we're talking about new original content versus shows being repurposed for streaming. In any case, this certainly isn't the first time a news organization has looked into streaming services. Fox News, for one, launched Fox Nation back in 2018. And while details on CNN's plans are pretty thin at the moment, we'll definitely keep an eye on this one moving forward. Stay tuned. And last but absolutely not least, we now know exactly when Amazon plans to host its annual sales event known as Prime Day. The two-day event is set to take place June 21st and June 22nd. Of course, like a whole lot of events both online and in person, last year's Prime Day was postponed due to the pandemic, and the event didn't actually take place until October of 2020. This year, however, we're getting a sales event a little earlier than normal. As usual, you can expect a whole lot of discounts on a whole lot of items. And as usual, you can look to Cord Cutters News to highlight all the best streaming and cord cutting deals. Should be interesting, and we'll be there to help you throughout the two-day event. And you can check out more in our post link down below in the video description. And so there you go. Those were some of the top streaming and cord cutting stories for the past week. And as always, thank you all for tuning in. And once again, if you haven't done so by now, please do consider those like and subscribe buttons down below. That really does help us out a ton, and we'd certainly appreciate it. On Wednesdays, Jess hosts our live Q&A sessions, and then on Thursdays, we dive deep into specific topics like this week's review of the second generation Apple TV 4K. And then you can wrap up the week right here every Friday with Cord Cutting Weekly. So until next time, my name is Philip Palermo. Have a safe and wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.